Hello and welcome back to the next bit, which is the working on this, which is the depot pits. So this is made up of several different parts. So one of the things that I wanted was to, as I said earlier, there's 4 sets of lights to go in here, which are these, and they're from scale model scenery. So just like little strips of LEDs on. And when this was made, these slots, which I don't think you can see, were actually designed to take these. So I've just checked to make sure that I can actually get them in afterwards, which I can. So they'll go in from the bottom and they'll sit in there, but they'll sort of sit underneath so you can't see them. So they all fit in nicely. So that's good. I can get it out. Yeah, scale model sceneries inspection pit kit, lighting strips if you're interested. I think there's 2 in a pack, and then you get like these little drivers. I think you can actually turn them up and down with that, which is also quite useful, so you can sort of adjust the brightness. So yep, that's that bit. I'll put them away for later. I've also got a Train Tech welding kit as well, so that's something else just to sort of give it a little bit more of a sort of effect. As I say, I think Dean Parker's used one. It was quite smart. Not something you want all the time, but if you just sort of have it so it randomly comes on, it just gives it sort of that little tiny bit more. Well, at the moment, this pit is loose because it's obviously a separate part. So one of the first things I need to do is anchor it down so as it stops it from moving. I need to adjust the height for to match up with the strip. I'm using the same strip as what I did for the depot refueling point or replenishing point, but this time these are slightly bigger. So it is pack number 4506 this time. So it's exactly the same, but just the tiles just slightly bigger. I would have used them down there, but I didn't have them, so I went for that. But it doesn't really matter, but it's slightly different. So that's going to cut in there like that. I'm going to leave a little bit of overhang both sides, and then the same here. So I should get on and get them cut. The thing I like about the tiles is you can stick to a straight line. So you should just be able to score that. And then hopefully that should snap like that. Okay, so that is the base now laid down. I've cut it in and round the other base as well. So all that remains now is to glue it in position and weigh it down. Okay, so the next bit is actually getting the roads in, the running or the rails in over the pits. So for this, what I've used is brass. This is just like box brass. Size is 305mm long, and it is 5.55 square. So basically, the reason why I chose that side was because that's about the same size as what a pandrol clip is. So I looked for a pandrol clip, and then that's the size I chose. So the rail and the pandrol clip sit quite nicely on there. So when I had this piece of, when this was made, it was made in various different layers in order to get the cuts and slots and in the floor, and the lip to sit the walkway on as well. So the next project is as I say, a little bit of cutting. So coming up, you've got bars that sit in each one of these squares, sort of like that, and then they sit on the underside of that rail. So I've been cutting them to about 15mm long, and then that sits inside there, like so, and then that sits on top of there, like so. And then once I've cut all them, I've allowed them to be a bit longer so as I can push them around a little bit just to suit myself. That goes in there. Then I shall solder. I shall do a solder just to tack that in place. Not for any real strength, but just to sort of keep it neat. Then over the top of that, I've got some more evergreen strip, and that will sit over the top of the brass like that, and that'll run right the way through to the end of the concrete section. And then the pandrol clips sit on top of there. Probably won't even be able to see that. And that's what I was saying about the. I chose the metal to go so it was the same size as the pandrol clip. That was falling in the pit. Never mind. Something like that. I don't know if I can get a close up. So yeah, what I need to do is cut 12 cut myself 12 of these, and then they can be inserted. Okay, so I've mocked up the position now for the next two sets of points. So this set and this set is the set that's actually going to take us into the depot itself. And so the next thing to do is actually get these placed on, like, fixed down. So first things first, need to mark underneath this, so it's when the point throws. So what I tend to do is I just put a little mark there and there, so I know where that is. And I might do the same with this one. Checking there's nothing underneath to hit. Then what I tend to do is drill some holes. And probably the bigger area you can take out underneath there, the better, really, because it gives you more room for that to move. Sometimes if it's really tight, you'll find that it might strike the side before it actually finishes the throw. Because I've got quite a big area to play with, I tend to take it out more than perhaps what I need to. But of course it's always advisable to double check that with the motor. I should do that in a little while, just to make sure that it does actually do what it needs to do. So as for wiring, obviously these points have been hand built, so they're not pre-wired, but they have got different bits and pieces of bonding in. So what needs to happen is that that rail there are both common, so they just go in as your positive, negative, or your, in my case, my black and red. The V is what switches. So as the trains come from different angles, this is the one that needs to switch. So I wire this up as a grey. Also, there is a little bit of a gap there, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make this rail bipolarity as well, and that rail. That way, then, if that does ever link up there, I won't have a problem, because it definitely won't link up through there. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to attach some wires. Try a little bit more solder, and then just try and find one so I don't melt anything else, and go on. Then, as always, just mark up where the holes need to be drilled, take the wiring through. You've got one there, there, there. And just drill the holes. it doesn't really matter what colours you use for what, but it's just from a perspective of fault finding afterwards. If you've used sort of like common colours, it's a lot easier. If you sort of like just use any old bits of wire, when you come around, if you've got a problem when you're trying to trace wiring, it's like becomes a lot more difficult. So that's why I've used grey as sort of my my sort of common one that changes polarity, and then just my red and my positive and negative, red and black for the rails, just purely to make it easier for myself when I come to do my connections, and if I have any issues for chasing them down. But as I said, you know, there's no hard and fast rule as to you must use whatever colour, because it's whatever either you've got or what works for you. I've decided to split the depot build into two parts because it's quite long, and I don't really want to sort of there's other bits and pieces to add, so I think I'll do that as two parts. So one of the things I'd gone on about was my tissue trains walkways, but I hadn't really told you, if anyone's interested, what the part number is. So that is that is the part number, and that is what it's like when you get it. You get like two walkways and the steps, or sorry, the side railings. Yeah, they are nice. So not particularly expensive either, but it's just the fact that they have to come from America, or my ones did anyway. So by the time I paid import duties, etc., etc. I wish I'd bought a couple more. I bought enough, but then I realised just how nice they were. So I thought I should have just doubled my order rather than getting a few, because it just works out more expensive with post and import than what it does to actually buy the product. Unless of course anyone's going to the States, and then it works out a lot cheaper. But anyway, so that's what they are. But they are nice if you're looking for that sort of thing. So here we are then with the update number 2. So what I've sort of done is I've mocked the tracks in now for where they're going to go. So you've got the turnout I've just been working on. That's the first one that leads into the depot, and then the one behind it also goes in, and that services the second road. This road here, which is probably the first time that I've mocked that in for the video, is the one that goes off and serves the distribution point. So that goes along there, and then goes, there's a turnout there somewhere, and then that splits into the two to go in to serve the distribution depot. So that's what all that's about. And then between this road here, and then that then couples back into there, so that gives you the run off to the yard, etc., etc. So that's where we're up to at the moment, and I'll come back and keep you informed when we come back with update 3. Thank you for watching. Thank you. Bye.